Hello everyone. I hope we're doing well on this fantastic morning, midday, evening, or even night for some of you. I hope it's going well. Welcome back. It's Resurrection Cup 2026, Codename Genesis, and it's the round of 16. We have a pretty phenomenal match coming up. We have To Be Determined versus MI BOMBO. Both teams last week winning their matches 5-2 in a pretty convincing fashion, and some pretty interesting picks from both teams back and forth. I think it'll be a very fun matchup between these two teams, both teams containing very, very strong players, overall solo play, and in the tournament play, of course, which is the more important thing here. And I think it'll be a very, very fun match on this map pool, especially. I'm one of your commentators, Torva0, and I'm joined by the amazing Bernie. How are we doing?
Hello, Torva. I'm doing fantastic today. Yeah, this is going to be a great match to watch. There's a lot of well-known players here all around both of the teams. More specifically, in To Be Determined, you have some very well-known tournament players as well. But I'm very excited for this match, and I'm very excited for this pool. This pool looks very fun, so shout out to the poolers as well. And right now, we're already seeing some rolls coming in. And Torva, how are you feeling about these picks? What do you think these teams will pick? What do you think these teams will ban? Let me know your thoughts.
Yeah, honestly, I think it'll be an interesting matchup between them because both teams have some good, like, 50-50 options, right? Like, you look over at To Be Determined, right? You see, the first, like, you see two certain players, right? You see Badoo and Jackpacks, and you immediately think, okay, they pick into Gimmick or your non-mechanical maps, and they can just shred on them. But then you see Bananachi, also known as Meows, and Killer 2007 on the same team, and then you go, let's change that up a bit, because maybe they can go straight into mechanics and not be scared, especially with Jackpacks and Badoo, both of them kind of learning tapping recently. Jackpacks maybe not as much as Badoo has, where Badoo's been learning how to play, stuff like Freedom Dive a lot easier, but Jackpacks last week proved that they can play 240. So, they're not exactly mechanics gapped the way you'd expect that team to be. And then, on the other side, you have, Drake's Drevmac, Squareum, also known as Godzilla, and Fie, also known as Oli. You have some really, really strong players over there as well. Like, I feel like MI BOMBO might pick a bit more into the aim factor, despite the fact, To Be Determined have on their team.
Yeah, MI BOMBO also has some advantages, especially on the side of like Hard Rock and Precision as well. They do have some players there to be on the lookout, especially Godzilla and Vin, aka Martin. So those players are to be on the lookout on those more precision type of picks. But we see here the first ban from To Be Determined. It is going to be DT2, which is surprising, honestly.
Yeah, I mean, getting rid of DT2, okay, it is just a solid bet for them to go into, right? I mean, like, I know I was mentioning about the fact, they have players that are going to be pretty comfortable on those raw mechanics, but DT2 had a bit different of just 207 BPM pure stamina for about 3 minutes 23. They have, again, got players that are going to be comfortable at it, but I think Killer 2007 will be a bit more comfortable on those higher BPMs, and Meows being, as far as I know, maybe the only one who's really going to maybe shred on a map like that. Maybe a Hail as well. I think it is just safe bet to get rid of them, get rid of that map, so they don't have to worry about it later on.
Yeah. So, yeah, I think this DT2 actually does make some sort of sense to ban from this To Be Determined lineup. But now next ban, it is going to be from the Iris side here, MI BOMBO, and I'm looking at some of the statistics here from some of the players, and maybe they could actually just go for like maybe some of the low AR kind of bans here. They could go for like that hidden 2 maybe. So I'm not too sure here, but maybe that could be a potential ban for this team, looking at some of their weaknesses here. So, but you do have some players that are very good on that low AR, however, but still, I'm not too sure if MI BOMBO here.
No, Vin, you got a great point there. Ban the entire pool.
Yeah, but Vin and MI BOMBO are actually going for that DT3 ban, which, it does make sense. Yeah, I think both of these teams are feeling very comfortable on these two DT picks, so it does make perfect sense here. And also, MI BOMBO do have some of those low AR players. They do have DRX and Fie, so those two players could actually go really well on those picks like Hidden 2. So let's see how it goes. And right now, this first pick, it is going to be by To Be Determined, and it is going to be the Hidden 2.
Yeah, okay, they're just immediately opting into the Hidden 2. I'm not even too surprised with this, right? When you look at the roster that To Be Determined have, right? Especially the two players of Badoo and Jackpacks, them not picking into Hidden 2 would be something concerning. Of course, you know, you do look at a lot of the players on the side of Mi Bombo, and you see, okay, they have got, you know, hidden comfort players. They've got players that can play the skill set. But there's being able to play the skill set. There's being good at the skill set, and then there's being Badoo and Jackpacks. And I think even among those two, there's a bit two different levels of, you know, Badoo being notoriously known as one of the craziest low AR hidden players in the game. You go up to AR 8, and this will probably just be more than a comfort BPM. This will probably be a light BPM. This would be like your average DT player playing Hard Rock. Like, it'd just be a normal BPM. So it'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, this is going to be an interesting thing here to see. For like you mentioned, Torva, you obviously on the side of To Be Determined, you do have Jackpacks and Badoo as mainstays here. I'm not too sure about the third player, however, but as well, that's going to be the case on the side of Mi Bombo. You do have DRX and Fie, which are obviously going to be stays here for this hidden 2. But I'm not too sure about the thirds for either of the teams. But I don't know. I guess we'll have to wait and see. But we see Vin staying in the lobby, so maybe he's also going for this hidden 2. On the side of To Be Determined, I'm still very much not sure who could go for that low AR hidden.
I'm thinking it's a Hale. I have a slight feeling.
Maybe it could be a Hale. I think it could be just a coin toss, honestly. But to be fair, maybe it is going to be AO. I'm not really seeing Meows or Killer going for this low AR hidden map, so maybe it is going to be AO, but we will find out in just a few moments as we are starting the first map of this round of 16 match here at the Resurrection Cup. So let's go. Let's do this. It's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen. And here we go. And it's going to be a hail like you predicted, Torva.
Yep. Getting into the hidden 2 to start this match off. As we mentioned, Aheo, Jackpacks, Badoo playing for the side of To Be Determined. Squareum, Vin, also known as Martin, and DRX playing for the side of Mi Bombo. Two very, very solid rosters. You know, having two very, very strong players, and then that third player who is going to be able to fill the gap at least just enough to make it a balanced matchup. Early in, going to be seeing that advantage for the side To Be Determined. 41k roughly, being the full combo, and 99 from Jackpacks, and full combo 99 basically from Badoo as well. Not matched on the accuracy side of things from the side of Mi Bombo, but the combo is definitely there for Squareum and DRX. As I said, DRX misses.
Yeah, DRX does find a miss, and now it is just Godzilla or Squareum, as whatever you prefer, to hold combo on the side of Mi Bombo, but you still have Jackpacks and Badoo, those two star players here on To Be Determined, still holding on to this combos. Eheo does find some troubles in the combo section, but Vin, aka Martin, is trying to recover some of that combo, as well as DRX, and everyone is right now holding, but DRX does find a miss, and so does Martin, and also Jackpacks actually. So now it's just Badoo and Squareum holding on the full combos.
Yeah, I mean, this is that top two players right now just going head to head against each other. You have the Godzilla, but for legal Japanese international copyright reasons, it's not Godzilla, it's just Squareum. Squareum versus Badoo on that top row. 99 versus the 97, both of those full combos. If Badoo finds that major break, it could start to flip over, but with Badoo on hidden 2s, you know, you can hope for it, but you just can't rely on it. You have to just sit there and play like, you know, you are going to guarantee he's going to FC. And right now, so far, that's looking to be a pretty similar case to be expected. 120k score advantage was to be determined halfway through the map. It can be brought backwards, sure, but it's going to take not only just a bit of a intervention from, you know, the game itself, it's going to take so much effort and so much attempts there to try and bring it back. It's DRX. It's an aim map.
It is an aim map, DRX indeed, but as you can see, Badoo and Squareum are still holding on to combos, but Badoo with a much higher accuracy. And there goes AO and Vin as well, finding breaks. Vin with another break, and Jackpacks is on the recovery as well as DRX, but yeah, it's still just Badoo versus Squareum, and Squareum finds a break, and I think that just kind of settled it for To Be Determined, and I think they're going to take this first pick if Badoo can hold on, but the score difference is still climbing 190 and still going to 200k. I'm very much certain that this map is kind of set in stone. Let's see if Badoo can just find the FC, however. It's all eyes on him right now, so let's see if Badoo can hit these last few notes. And oh my god, yo, those Those patterns there are crazy. Yeah, that's very clean there. Badu is still going, and he does not want to stop. Will he be able to find the FC on the first map of this match? This would be insane, ladies and gentlemen. He's still going. All eyes on him right now. Everyone breaking, everyone kind of falling apart around him. But Badu is still going. And will he find the FC? And he does it! What an amazing performance by Badu on the first map of this round of 16 match. A point for to be determined.
Yeah, Badu just showcasing time and time again. You just cannot compete against this guy at low AI hidden. He just does not find those breaks. And he's done it once again. Bringing out a 1 versus 2 there, by the way. Only barely missing out on the 1 versus 3 because of score cap and score v2. But a very, very insane performance from them. And that's the pick they're looking to get on the board, right? That's what they wanted. They wanted to start the match with just an insane performance, to have that momentum early in, and just to go crazy. They absolutely did that. And now, I mean, MI BOMBO have a chance to try and return it. They now know to not risk into those low approach rates. And the main one now is just basically don't risk the free mod 2, and maybe don't gamble the hidden 1 just yet. But despite that, there's still a load of points to be possible on the board. There's still the entire no mod lineup, there's still the hard rock lineup, and the DT1, and free mod 1 and 3. So, you know, they have got quite a decent range to go into it, and I feel like maybe one of the no mods is the pick here.
Yeah, I wouldn't risk the no mod 5 as well, because that is also AR8. So
that's true.
You just saw what to be determined did here on this hidden 2. So I wouldn't risk the no mod 5 as well. Maybe they could go for something like one of the no mods. Maybe you have still, you know, the entire no mod pool, no mod 1, 2, 3, and 4. 5, of course, wouldn't be the best pick to their liking, but they do also have that hard rock too. They do have some good hard rock and precision players. MI BOMBO. They do have Vin. They do have Squareum. I mean, so maybe they could go for that. But no, actually, they're going for that DT1. I mean, yeah, they're going for the awkward high BPM alt map thing.
Yeah, honestly, best way to describe it. I don't think I could describe it actually any better, with it just being bit of a weird map. You know, usually you see, you know, DT1s, and it's always just gonna usually be that case of, oh, okay, it's full spacing, you know, aim map. Not entirely this time around. I mean, still got a bit of aim to it, sure, as you do with every alt map, but it is going to be a lot more focused on the alt capabilities, and also a really short map with DT.
Yeah, I was going to mention that. This is the shortest map in the entire pool. It's just 1 minute 29 seconds of drain time. So these players do need to be very careful with where they miss, and also their accuracies. It's going to be super important for this map, Torva.
Yep. Aim slop is DT1, it's so over. Yo, hello?
Huh?
Hello? Are we sight reading pool? This is like the furthest thing from aim slop. The spacing doesn't exist. To be fair though, I might just be wrong. I might be wrong in its consideration of aim slot.
Honestly, yeah, fair enough. I'm not too familiar with this map. I just know that it's a short map, and it's gonna go by really fast. AR 10.3 as well, very you know, normal here in these kind of rounds at the star rating as well. But besides that, yeah, we're just waiting here for the players to come in, and obviously on the side of to be determined, you're going to be expecting Meow's Killer to join in for this one. Side of MI BOMBO, however, they do have Dryax, which is a very good DT player as well. I'm not too sure about the rest, however. Maybe you can see Vin coming in and Squareum. Maybe those could be the players for the side of MI BOMBO, but we're going to find out in just a few moments. Map, it is going to be starting. It's going to be your DT1, and it's going to go by really fast, ladies and gentlemen, so keep your eyes glued to your screens or you're going to miss it.
Yeah, literally a case of blink and you miss it. This DT1 will be over. And it's also one of those cases where legitimately every miss will start to cause a problem for both sides. We are going to be seeing Badu, Jackpacks, and Meows brought in for the side of to be determined, and then Godzilla, also known as Squareum, DRX, and Drex for the side of MI BOMBO. Very, very solid lineups there. Honestly, kind of around what I expected to see from both teams. The alt map, you know, having players going to be very comfortable on aim and a bit of that tapping side of things, but not on the crazy tapping. Seeing Drex having the first early miss, though, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Squirm finds a miss just right after, and they still have 3 FCs happening on the side of To Be Determined. Shout out to Jackback still holding on to that SS, however, but people on the side of Mi Bombo are still trying their best here. DRX is still holding on to that FC, Squirm trying for that recovery, but you still have 3 FCs on the side of To Be Determined, and we're already halfway through the map, ladies and gentlemen. I told you, you blink it and you're gonna miss this map.
Yeah, and I mean, so far, right, To Be Determined looking ridiculously comfortable on this. You put them on an alt map, you put these 3 players together, they're just going to bring a score out that's going to be a bit sketchy. Not what you want to see if you're the side of Mi Bombo, you know? It's your first pick on the board, you know? It's the first map, you've gone, we can get this, we can try to get some momentum, we can try and get a point on the board. This is the thing we want to start our match out with. And so far, it was looking like an alright pick, right? Did see an early miss coming in from Drix, unfortunately. A miss coming in from Squarearm as well, which is not what you want to see, but DRX is holding on to that full combo, trying to match it, and as I mentioned, it does find that break. But, you know, that break there, I think it just sets it in stone. Even with the miss coming in from Yowls, Squarearm trades it out, and I think it's safe to say this map is just over and done with. Badoo finding a break as well, but so far towards the ending, it just does not matter.
Yeah, I thought there was a disconnect from Jackbacks, but no, it's just Bancho being Bancho. But yeah, let's see what Jackbacks will do up until the end of the map. But yeah, Roadside do find a point here. S rank for Badoo as well, S rank for Dryax. And Jackbacks does not find the FC, unfortunately, but still very much set in stone. This is a 770,000 score difference between these two teams. And yeah, To Be Determined looking very strong on this map, looking very confident, and finding a breakpoint, and now it's going to be their pick, Torva.
Yeah, I mean, maybe not the way you want to go into these guys. DT1, I see the attempt, I rate the attempt, right? You have some players who are going to be usually very comfortable at this skill set, but, you know, sometimes it just isn't how it goes, you know, sometimes you have that bit of an off day, and I think that was the case here, you know, having a bit of that off day. Seeing 2 SBs coming in from Drix, and maybe not so happy about it as well. But the main thing I think we now get from this is we just don't pick no mod 3. We don't pick no mod 5. we don't go into those. We ignore them. But
yeah, but the thing is, you also have to look at the facts here. To Be Determined is the seed 2 of this tournament. Mi Bombo seed 15. You also need to look out for those statistics as well, because in reality, whatever Mi Bombo is good at, To Be Determined will always top their skill sets. So that is going to be the unfortunate reality of this match here. But still, Mi Bombo is still looking very strong in some of these picks, and looking like they can handle their own very well. And Jackpacks and To Be Determined are going for the no mod 5. They're still going for those reading picks.
yeah, I mean, they know what they do best. They know what they're basically unmatched on as a team, and they are just going to continue going down that road until it is completely exhausted. I mean, we saw on the Hidden 2, right? We saw the power Badoo brings out, and of course the insanely good supporting scores from Jackpacks and Aheo. Now they go into the No Mod 5. Now we're going into another reading map, you know, as mentioned earlier, right? It's AR8 again, just like the Hidden 2 is, but this time without the Hidden. However, this map, I would say is a tad bit different. You know, the Hidden 2, a bit more aim focused. This one, you know, just a lot more on that reading, I think. Just, it's got some weird overlaps, some weird rhythm senses. And overall, just, again, a mix of reading mixed with tap and control. Just a funky map, and I think this is just going to be a playground for Badoo.
Yeah, this is definitely going to be just a walk in the park for Badoo, and yeah, he's obviously like the star reading player for To Be Determined. Still for Mi Bombo, I think they could really produce some good scores, but I'm not too sure how they're gonna go up against this team with this caliber of players, and I'm not too sure what they could do here. But we're gonna find out in just a few moments, and let's just see how it goes. Obviously, To Be Determined does have the advantage here. Badoo, one of the best reading players in the entire game right now. But let's see what Mi Bombo can do. Let's see what scores they can produce and what they can bring to the table as well.
Yeah, I mean, all they really need, right, is they just need 2 players to focus on, you know, building that combo as much as possible, as much as ACK as possible. And then, you know, maybe having that 3rd player just try to mark the other 2 if possible. They just need to have those good scores coming in. Because, you know, you'll have, you know, Jackpacks and Aheo bringing out some crazy scores. That will happen. But it's Badu, I feel like, that is just going to be the scariest one to go against her. But, you know, you can't FC every map you play in reading. You can't do every single map every single time. You know, consistency
Surely
is
you can.
good, but surely not.
I don't know. I don't know, Torva. We'll just have to wait and see. I think all players are in lobby right now when we're getting ready for this No Mod 5. And reminder, round of 16. 2-0 right now for the team of To Be Determined. And yeah, let's see how things will go. Let's see if To Be Determined can find another point on the board, or if MI BOMBO can find their first point. Here we go. Badu, Jackpacks, and Aheo on To Be Determined. And we're already seeing some difficulties here on MI BOMBO with DRX, as they also have Vin and Dryax as well. And yeah, let's just get into it. Aheo does find an early break, as well as Jackpacks as well on the side of To Be Determined. There were some early breaks, however, for Vin as well, Martin Euchner as well. But Badu is still going. He is still doing Badu things. And Aheo does find another break for To Be Determined. And right now, it's all on the side of To Be Determined.
Yeah, I mean, you have Badu building up a pretty scary combo early, and also with the actually 99% to be crossed into. First quarter of the map over. Jackpacks was thanks for the recovery, but does unfortunately find, I think, a slider break there. Aheo also now on that recovery, a bit behind the actually also finds the break, but DRX is trading that one out. You do see Vin and Dryax starting to build those combos, and now with Badu finding the break, that opening has been found. It's a 230k score difference, and the accuracy difference is not looking great for the side of MI BOMBO, but if they can just hold full combos for the next half of the map and start to recover those accuracies as they go, they can start to try and find a scratch or a dent into that score difference, but it's going to take a lot of work and a lot of consistency.
Yeah, you can already see the score difference kind of going down, but there's a lot of accuracy drops coming in from MI BOMBO, and Vin and Dryax do hit that. They're still going with those combos. Unfortunately, the AC difference is really making them struggle for this one, because To Be Determined, it does have the accuracy advantage by a lot, and Jackpacks and Badu are recovering those combos. Vin and Dryax are doing their best to recover score, but I don't think it doesn't really matter. Unfortunately, they're dropping accuracy, and Dryax does find a drop of combo as well. And I think this map is already set in stone for To Be Determined. Again, crazy good performances from Badu and Jackpacks, and a very good effort as well from Vin on the side of MI BOMBO. But unfortunately, it was just not enough.
Yeah, I mean, that's one of them performances, you just look at it and you just go, yeah, there's just not much you can do. You know, you have two S ranks, but one of them basically a 99, the other one a 98.5, basically. You know, you just don't do much against that. Those are both such incredibly strong scores, and fighting against it is going to take so much more than, you know, a strong combo, which we do see from, you know, Drax and Vin, but, you know, it's those accuracies that are important as well. And I think this is now where, you know, the tide should change a small bit, right? You've seen that, you know, To Be Determined a 3-0. You've seen that, you know, these more different picks that you'd usually see, you know, you're seeing the Hidden 2, the normal 5, and the DT1, you're seeing those haven't worked. We don't pick reading, we don't pick ult, and we don't play a bit of a gamble skill set. Which, to me, that just rules out, we don't want to play the free mods, we don't want to play many of the readings, which are kind of gone now. I feel like we go into something a bit crazy, we play into raw tapping if possible, but then you also have the threat of Killer 2007, and Aheo and Bananachi. So I feel like, honestly, for the side of MI BOMBO, maybe playing into a bit of aim here could be the play if they want to try and find a major switch up.
Yeah, I think maybe aim could be good for them. They do have that No Mod 1 open. Obviously, the No Mod 1, it is going to be a little bit more focused on consistency, also one of the longer maps in the pool, but still also has that focus on aim. However, you do have also the free mod 1. It's more awkward aim, however, it's still aim, so maybe they could go for that as well. So I'm not too sure though what they could go for or what they could do here, but I could see those two maps being picked. What do you think, Torva?
Yeah, I mean, I do see it as being a pretty solid option. I mean, the No Mod 1 is mentioned, right? But a bit of an awkward aim map, you know, not you know what you want to have. I mean, the No Mod 1 is just consistency. Sorry, I've got the wrong one mixed up in my head there. But it seems they are going to be throwing a bit of a different curveball here. You know, we were expecting, you know, going to, you know, number 1, number 2, maybe something just a bit different. Instead, they're actually opting into a bit of precision map here, which is, honestly, a pretty solid shout to go into. And, of course, you know, with it being Res Cup, you're going to have a few of these sprinkled in here and there for now, and it's going to be an original. A very, very fun Res Cup original. It's going to be Mare Serenum. I'm sorry if I mispronounced that. The Hard Rock 2, mapped by Riverism. And it's a precision aim and stream map, sitting about 2 minutes 30 with CS 6.5. A pretty fun map to go into, and honestly, I think this is the curveball we were looking for.
Yeah, we were more focused on the aim, but we kind of forgot, or at least I forgot, that MI BOMBO do have precision players and hard rock players. You have Vin, you have Squareum as well. They're very good hard rock and precision players, so they could go for this gamble here, and they could really go for this hard rock too. However, I'm not too sure about to be determined, and you know, maybe the players that they can go for, but for the side of MI BOMBO, it's looking very good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the map they were hoping to get. Right? This is what they were wanting. Because they wanted to go into something new, right? There again, as I've already mentioned beforehand, the gimmick. Not something you can pick into it against a team like To Be Determined. Also not a thing you can pick into a team like To Be Determined. So we scratch those skill sets off, and we go into a stream map that isn't speed, so Killer 2007 doesn't get to go absolutely insane on a team. I mean, I think Aheo and Meows can have a chance to do something pretty good here on this map, but when you see a lineup like, again, Vin, Dryax, DRX, Squareum, and Fie, I think that's a team that can definitely pull off a score that might have a chance at, you know, overtaking To Be Determined on this, and have a chance to get their first point on the board.
Yeah, if they want to score on the board, this is the best chance that they're going to get with this Hard Rock 2. But we're going to find out in just a few moments. The map is going to be starting soon. And reminder, To Be Determined is up 3-0 against MI BOMBO. And it's looking kind of dire for the Aris side here, but not the end of the world, and the match is far from being over. So we're going to right now focus on the map we have at hand. We're going to focus on the Hard Rock 2, a Resurrection Cup original, mapped by Riverism. It's going to be your precision aim, and it's going to be some streams as well at 192 BPM, and here we go. We're going to get started here. Of course, you see Vin and Squareum on the side of MI BOMBO, as well as Dryax. Side of To Be Determined, you have Aheo, you have Meows, and Jackpacks. And it's going to be a good one, ladies and gentlemen.
Yep, no curveballs in the rosters to be seen, just what you'd expect, what the team's putting out their best that they can for a map like this. This will be an interesting one. I mean, I'm always a big fan of precision, one of my favorite skill sets in the game, especially in a tournament setting, but, you know, seeing it at this level, you can have precision, but then you have to have everything on top of it, and there's a few things you can look at when you look at a precision map, right? You can either focus on building the combo and focus your cursor placement every single time, or you can hope you are a bit more comfortable on it and you can just focus on the rhythms of the map. In this case, you know, you're having a bit of that, you know, more comfort on the precision, but I say that, you do see the early break coming in from Meows and Jackpacks. It is going to be trended out by Drags quite later in, but that score advantage is going to be sitting pretty comfortably inside of MI BOMBO by about 54k.
Yeah, this is the first time MI BOMBO do find the score advantage on their side, and you see Vin and Squareum holding on to their full combo still, and on the side of To Be Determined, you still have Aheo holding on to that full combo, and Meows and Jackpack. Meows does find a break just before the spinner, and right now it is just Aheo and Jackpacks holding on to some combo on the side of To Be Determined, but it's looking very, very good for the side of MI BOMBO. Vin and Squareum are still holding on to those full combos.
Yeah, they are holding on quite well right now. I mean, every time Drax finds the miss, right, that is the best case scenario for the side of MI BOMBO. If anyone was to find a miss, you want it to be Drax, and you want Drax to take someone down with them, which we did see with Meows. As mentioned, right, Jackpacks is on that recovery. 500 combo cross, but there's still only about a quarter of the map remaining. It's a 100k score difference. It's not over and done with yet. The map isn't at its close, but it does build up a bit more. And Aheo goes down. Meows goes down. Dryax trading them both out. And that is, again, best case scenario for them. Squareum and Vin are both on those full combos. Looking to get that first point on the board as the map is coming towards its close. Jackpacks is trying to fend off, but it's 270k score difference, building so rapidly. It's a score that is to be respectable from Jackpacks, but you look at Squareum, you look at Vin, and you look at it and you just go, yeah, what more can you do? That is a performance and a half to bring to the board. Vin unfortunately finding a break before the map's closing moments, but you don't need to worry. This is the first point on the board from MI BOMBO. This is what they were looking for. And now they are officially in the match. It was lobby-sided break, but it's more than fine for Me Bombo. That's what they wanted. That's what they needed. That's what they got.
What an amazing performance by Me Bombo. This is the performance that they definitely needed to have a point on the board. And you can see here, you see Vin, you see Square'em, especially Square'em, just shy of 1,000,000 points, but doesn't really matter. They still got the point, and what a good performance by them. And yeah, this is what they needed. This is gonna definitely give them a very big morale boost. And right now, to be determined, it is gonna be their pick right now. And there's still some maps here that they could go for. They do still have some, you know, reading-ish picks. They do have that free mod too, so maybe Badu can go for the hidden and play ARA with hidden. But then you have the precision as well, and you just saw Me Bombo just won in a very convincing fashion. They won this Hard Rock too. So I'm not too sure what they could go for here. The reading picks, they're all out the window. So what else can you do?
I've got two very solid picks in mind that I think they want to go into here. To be determined, you know, you look at that roster and you think to yourself, what can they go into? I mean, once again, I see 3 players. I see Aheo, Badu, and Jackpacks. No Mod 3, No Mod 4 are both open. Jackpacks, scary on a No Mod 4. Scary on a No Mod 3. Badu, scary on a No Mod 3, scary on a No Mod 4. Aheo, scary on both as well. I think that's a solid option to go into, but if they don't want to go into that, of course, you know, there's still the No Mod 2 that's open, and you can just bring in Meows, Aheo, and Kill 2007, but it seems they are going to be opting in for that No Mod 3, going into a bit of Snap Ult, which they've shown they could win with a DT1, and now we're going to go into something a bit heavier on the Snap Ult in the No Mod 3.
Yeah, we're going to go for this No Mod 3 here, the Snap Ult. And yeah, it does actually make perfect sense for it to be determined. They did have that great performance on that DT1, and that DT1 right now is the closest thing we had to an alt map, if you can say. But yeah, and now the No Mod 3, it is going to be pure alt, Snap Alt. And yeah, it's going to be a good one. I think this is a good pick for it to be determined.
Yeah, it's just a solid option to go into. I do think that Me Bombo, especially now with the newfound confidence, can start to, you know, bring a bit more of that fight to these kind of maps, but this is just one of those ones where I don't think they need to worry about losing a point like this. You know, as Vin puts it, they got the 1 point on precision. They can be happy. They are more than happy with what they've done now. They've put a dent into a powerhouse team, and honestly, they found a dent. They can start to find a full mark on them, but they just need to, you know, find those extra maps now. And I do think, you know, if they go into after this map, the Hard Rock picks are open. But for this No Mod 3, I think just go for the best you can, and you pray that, you know, the random breaks are found, because they're a bit more likely than you expect to see.
Yeah, they just need to survive these harder picks for them, these picks that are more in favor to be determined, and then they can go here for the stronger suits, which we just found out with Hard Rock 2. It is going to be those Hard Rocks and those precision picks as well. But right now, they do have to somehow survive this No Mod 3, hope for the best, and see how things will go from there on out. But let's just focus on the map at hand that we have. We have No Mod 3, and the players are getting into the lobby. We're getting ready in just a few moments to start this map. We're already seeing here the ref, seeing if everyone is ready. We're seeing the good luck, have funs in chat, and we're going to get started on this No Mod 3 in just a few moments. Me Bombo did find their point on the board. Let's see if they can get close to another one. Hopefully so.
Yep, that's what they're hoping for. They're looking to get that breakpoint, trying to you know, even out the breakpoint match so far they've had. You know, we had the DT1 breakpoint. They're looking to get that another one on the board. But, you know, let's get into it. The No Mod 3, timeout, Daitai, Noid, CS4, AR 9.5, 2 minutes 48. Just some good old-fashioned Snap Ult mapping. 134 BPM. Do see an early break coming in from Vin. Not the best, you know, hopes to be found, but tactical misses are more than okay. You know, it's not a long map, but, you know, it's long enough that you can get away with it and not be in a complete danger zone. if the teams don't full combo on the other side. It is only a 20k earlier advantage despite that miss. The accuracy is looking pretty solid across the board, but the 399s and 2B determined are going to be helping with that early advantage.
Yeah, that break from Vin, it is going to help to be determined here in the early run. Let's see how it goes in the long run. However, accuracies, like you mentioned, Torva, they're looking very, very good all across the board. With the exception of Vin, however, just a little bit shy of 98%. Everyone else seems to be holding on to 98.3 and above. So everyone looking very good as we enter this first key eye here. To be determined is still holding on to their full combos, but do Jackpacks and Aheo still holding on. But you also have Squareum and DRX holding on, but there goes Badu finding a break, and there goes the Aheo as well, and that's probably going to be the break that MI BOMBO needed to get this back to their side.
Yeah, I mean, even with a break coming in from Squareum, right, they have Vin on that really nice recovery, and DRX with the full combo still on the board. And those breaks from Badu and Aheo are basically bang on in the middle of the map. Those are not going to be helping them whatsoever. Vin, unfortunately, does find that break just 150 combo later. Jackpacks and DRX both going head-to-head. The accuracy from Jackpacks is going to keep that score difference in the lead by a decent bit. But, you know, as those recoveries start to build on both sides, it's just going to take another set of misses for it to be determined to throw away this point. But so far, they're looking to keep it in their grasp, looking to keep it closer than they maybe hoped. Vin finding the break, not most ideal case scenario, but it's not over till it's over. There's still about a quarter of the map remaining, just a bit more. DRX keeping them in the game so far.
Yeah, DRX is still holding on to that full combo, but so is Jackpack with 99.8% accuracy. MI BOMBO desperately needs that break from Jackpack if they still want this point, if they still want to dream of having this point, but Jackpack is not having it. He is still going, and DRX is still going as well, but unfortunately with lower accuracy than Jackpack, just by 1%, and yeah, these two players are still going, and also Badu finding a nice recovery combo, so that's helping Jackpacks by a lot, and we're entering the final moment of this map. Can Jackpacks find ESC? Can DRX find ESC as well here in this final moment? And it looks like they're gonna do it. They're gonna hit the squares, they're gonna hit this final sliders, and both of these players do find ESCs. Jackpacks, however, with 2 100s. What an amazing performance by him, as well as a good performance by Badu on to be determined, finding the S rank, and also DRX with the FC. Unfortunately, just not enough for their team, but another point for to be determined.
Yeah, I mean, that is just some crazy scores across the board to be seen, right? I mean, you see Badu 99.5% one slider break. And again, it's mentioned that 2 100s from Jackpacks and the full combo from DRX to match it as well. They played so well, but, you know, the recovery on to be determined being a bit too strong. And, I mean, that one went, you know, as expected, right? People, you know, we all expected the No More 3 to go to to be determined, but there was a few more cracks in the armor than expected that MI BOMBO were able to find on that map. You know, able to start bringing it back to a point where it only got to a 20k score difference. So there's a bit more available to them now. They're looking a bit stronger now, you know, after that Hard Rock 2 win. And with it being now back to that point, I'm thinking they double down on the Hard Rock, honestly.
Yeah, they could double down on the Hard Rock, or if they're feeling a bit more funky, they also have that free mod too available to them. But also, you know, you have to be careful with those reading players on the side of to be determined. So maybe the Hard Rock one would be the safer choice here. I'm not really too sure what else they could go for. So I'm guessing it's either Hard Rock 1 or free mod 2 for this one, Torvo.
Yeah, those are the two guesses I'm seeing here as well. I mean, if they're feeling a bit funky, they can go into any of the free mods, honestly, but you just avoid the free mod 3. Just don't go into the free mod 3 is all I'm gonna say. I don't think that's a gamble you really want to go into here.
Yeah, no, the to be determined has some very strong players that can play that free mod 3 perfectly, and MI BOMBO do not want to risk that, or at least if I was MI BOMBO, I wouldn't risk that. So, you know, free mod 1, free mod 2, and also the Hard Rock 1 are going to be my choices for this one. I'm not too sure what else they can go for, and I think they're going, yeah, like we mentioned, Hard Rock 1, it is going to be the pick for MI BOMBO, and yeah, it's going to be a different Hard Rock 1. You know, I'm more old school. I'm used to the hard rock ones being more focused on aim, but we're seeing a trend here recently that hard rock ones are more right now focused on slider tech as well. So that's going to be a good one to see. But you also have to be on the lookout. To be determined, have some very good tech players, mainly jackpacks. So they do need to be careful with those.
Yeah, I mean, this harder one being Inceptionism, this is a map that I think, especially tournament players, and somewhat recently as well, will be a bit more knowledgeable on this map, right? They've played this map quite a few times, I think, in tournaments. I've seen some people saying about it being pulled quite a bit often, and, you know, that might help them here. They have that bit of practice, you know? I mean, again, as mentioned, you have got the, you know, a really good tech player on the side of Jackpacks, and overall just roster on the side of To Be Determined, but, you know, the hard rock specialist on the side of MI BOMBO might be able to find a bit of an edge over them here, but it would just be an option for them. I think this can be a solid pick for them. They're hoping to keep this point for their side. They're hoping to keep themselves in the game here, because if I'm not mistaken, this is match point. They have to play this carefully. But can they keep it in their favor?
Indeed, yeah. This is match point for To Be Determined. So they do need to be a bit more careful here with the picks that they go for. But this is looking kind of pretty good for MI BOMBO. They already found a point there on the Hard Rock 2. They're hoping to find another one on the Hard Rock 1. So let's see how things will go. And of course, for the side of MI BOMBO, you can expect Vin and Square'em on this pick. Side of To Be Determined, however, Jackpacks, once again, a very talented tech player. However, I'm not too sure about the rest. But yeah, I think those are the three players that you can expect across the lobby. However, the other three, right? No, yeah, the other three are still to be determined. But we're already seeing the good luck have fun in chat, and you see Badu and the Heo typing in chat. So I'm hoping, yeah, they're going to be in for the side of To Be Determined, and you see it's going to be Vin, Square'em, and Dryax on the side of MI BOMBO, and we're going to start this Hard Rock 1.
Yeah, let's get this on the road. Bit of a longer map as well. You know, 3 minutes, 7 seconds. CS at 4.9, not entirely too punishing, but still something you gotta be careful for. Do see the early break coming in from Vin, but it's only a tactical miss, hopefully. Nothing to be worried about as the map starts to build in. 6.73 stars, 175 BPM. Let's see how these players are feeling on a good bit of hard rock tech, Inceptionism, and see how they go.
Yeah, the map is starting to build up. We're already going to see here the key eyes coming in. And here we go. We're already seeing some of these big sliders. And the Hale finds a slider break. And everyone else seems to be holding on. There's still more slider breaks on the side of the Hale. And Vin, Square'em, and Dryax are doing the best they can. Square'em does find a break. And so does Vin. And so does Dryax. That's a full combo reset for MI BOMBO, and that's not what they need. Badu and Jackpacks are still going very strong. Jackpacks does find a break. Badu still holding on for To Be Determined.
Yeah, this is looking a bit more scary now. We're closing towards the halfway point of the map. Badu still holding on to that full combo. You know, Jackpacks and Aheo finding those breaks. It's looking better, especially with another miss be found from Aheo, but you need all of MI BOMBO to not only start recovering, but you need that major break from Badu. It has to happen soon. Still a 3-way S rank on side of To Be Determined and 1 S rank on Godzilla. 175,000 score difference. There's still hope in the bag. It's still half the map to go. And Badu! What is that break? That is the exact thing they were needing. That is what they wanted. They now just have to keep those combos in the bag.
That slider break, that fumble from Badu might be the hope that MI BOMBO needed. And you see the score difference is now dropping. You have 1/3 of the map left. Vin, Square'em, Dryax, they're still holding on to their combos. There goes Dryax, but you saw Vin and Square'em holding on. They hit the spade stream, but you still have Jackpacks and Aheo on those recoveries, as well as the map builds up once again. You have Vin and Square'em holding on for MI BOMBO. The score difference right now, it is under 100k, and there goes Vin. Square'em still holding on, but there goes the Aheo as well. Now it's just Jackpacks versus Square'em, but Square'em finds a break. That is a catastrophe for MI BOMBO. That is not what they needed, and now the score is on the side of To Be Determined.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lobby side break now. Everyone is gone. Everyone is crumbled. Coming towards the end of this map. Sadly, I believe coming towards the end of the match. 200k score difference. I mean, this is a phenomenal performance from them. Like, this is just so close. Getting towards the halfway point, seeing that slider break from Badu, I thought it was there. I thought the door had swung wide open for MI BOMBO. I thought they would have had it, but, you know, when it gets to the ending there, it does get a bit rough, and knowing that you have to hold combo, knowing that you have to full combo the ending, you know, it's always easier said than done, especially with the nerfs to be added in. It's just not something you can always expect and hope for every single time. It was so well played, though, and you know what? We were always saying, you know, the whole way through that Hard Rock 1 would be an option for them after the Hard Rock 2. But you look at the map of Hard Rock 1 and you realize that to be determined were just going to be a bit stronger on paper. But MI BOMBO played it so well. I mean, 2 400Ks and still a solid 300K as well. But again, it's just seeing Badu and Jackpacks, those combos, those accuracies, there's just not much you can do against it. And to be determined, do win out this match 5-1, breaking both teams, you know, records so far of having 5-2 matches, but still very well played. And honestly, I'm really excited to see MI BOMBO play in the losers bracket because, you know, they've put a dent into a really strong team, and I think they can continue to do more later in.
Yeah, they could actually go kind of far in the losers bracket, but let's see how things will go next weekend for them. But right now, Victor, to be determined, C2 of the entire tournament. They do move along the winners bracket. And yeah, we do have one more match for today at 18 UTC. We're going to have Team Og versus Waddle Bleep. That is going to be also a very good match that you do not want to miss out today. And then tomorrow, Sunday, you're going to have a lot of matches still going, as well as on Monday. You still have 2 matches on Monday. So be on the lookout for those. And stay tuned. We're going to have our final match of today at 18 UTC. So tune in for that. I've been Bernie. My co-caster has been Torva0. And thank you so much for watching. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye!